Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night. I have a few questions here, and thanks to folks who send in those questions. Really important. This one is from Toshi in California. And he says, you often discuss living in the world and trying to be of service, as opposed to meditating in a cave. Is it the direct interaction with others that is helpful in ways that wouldn't happen in seclusion? We live in a world right now, and have been for a long time, that relates to, our particular belief systems and our understandings of how to honor people who do live in caves and are interacting presumably with themselves and meditating quite often and engaging and trying to understand themselves. This is often kind of difficult when you're looking at something that you've already believed might be really helpful, but nonetheless, living in a cave does cut off, as Toshi mentions, an engagement with other people. There are many stories that have been told about this great difficulty. You see, other people affect you. And it's hard for us to believe that they would have such an effect on you. But as you get into a broader layer of awareness, just past our normal awareness, you begin to realize if you have a perception along with that awareness is interesting because we're talking about one thing, awareness of energy, an awareness of energy around you, and another level of awareness where you're perceiving energy coming into you, and then another level where you start to be aware of the fact that you assess that energy coming into you. So there's three really conjoined levels of engagement there that are hard to really put your finger on. And it really brings up an awful lot of difficulty in a growing person. Because what you're really dealing with here is, number one, trying to have a more balanced engagement with others. Now, what does that mean? And this is really difficult to explain. One of the things is you see how you assess the world and individuals, and how you lean on that assessment being ultimately the only truth that you can engage with. And in fact, you begin to learn that that's not necessarily a final truth. It's a relative truth. As you see and understand even deeper than those three levels, you begin to realize that there is within the world a tremendous amount of reflex interaction with others. I'll talk a little bit about that in the next question. But when you have a reflexive response, it's out of the training that you already have. In other words, your background, naturally and normally, gives you a certain reflexive response to almost anything. That, in a kind of a way, is what everyone tries to consider valuable, and they must, no matter what it is, because that's where they are right there in their life. And sometimes that is critical, and it's a mixture of things that you have a sense of needing to be valued and right in what you perceive and engage with. And in doing that, you can move to a next step. This is what we've been living at. This is called being a human being. And so many options are available based on the conditioning that we've all been involved with, to some degree at least. And on top of that, the level of health you may have, mentally, physical, or emotional health. And that is also perhaps because the impact of how you function is really often dictated by the environment you happen to live in as well. So it's complicated. But when you're dealing with coming into a situation where you're saying, these folks in caves, they begin to be used to themselves being the way they are, and since no one is around to influence them, it is often hoped that that individual will go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and through many hours of prayer or meditation, begin to be affected in some manner by a higher state link that begins to cultivate. There's the dilemma. Therein lies a story. An individual in India told me this story a long time ago, and this story was something like this. And not perfectly told, because I can't remember totally exactly the words he said in their particular links exactly. However, here we go. This guy's meditating. He's been meditating, and his teacher sent him into this cave. Every now and then engaged with him. The teacher having a certain level of energy in his engagement with his inner beingness or higher state, told this gentleman that in 10 years, after meditating for 10 years, he would be tremendously aware. And you see, awareness moves both ways. Just sidebar. And then he would come out of the cave and he would go looking in a village for some water to drink. And not having had water for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, very thirsty, and it was time to come out of the cave because his time was up. Off he goes to the well, and there's another lady there, and she pulls up some water and for him and gives it to him, and he falls in love, one could say, with this lady, because the energy that she had within her is transmitting to him, and he takes that as his energy, of course, which is natural, and she finds him very loving, very smitten, gentle, wonderful, and so he believes that that energy is his, and he and she get married. They have a couple of children. And they are really involved with a very happy life for about 10 years again. Just 10 years seems to be important in this story. And then his teacher comes. And he said, do you remember me? He said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And he touches him on the forehead. And suddenly with energy from another state, and suddenly he is aware and remembers his teacher. And not only that, he remembers that now he must leave and go with his teacher to go into another level of growing. This sounds in our world pretty harsh, because now he's leaving his family behind. Well, in India, not so harsh. In the old days, because that was a kind of purpose that many people had, wishing to be at one with a higher state or God, a God state. But he didn't understand still the relationship with how other folks touch us. That was a long time ago, because it was a legend that had been taught, or a teaching story that had been taught by his teacher, who was taught by another teacher, another teacher, another teacher, down through the generations of teaching. The story is supposed to tell a tale of how others affect us. Not badly, could be, but not really. There's no bad in that. That was a story of loving. But the link that's there in a process of growing that can be touched relates to a higher state engaging with you to help you to be aware and conscious of energy moving towards you from all beings, everyone. And that emphasizes and touches aspects within you that may be similar to others who engage in life. It's well known often, by some, that every time you have a reaction, if it's over-the-moon reactions, then in fact there are often subtleties in you that you are reacting to, believing that the other person is making you react. And yes, can the other person make you react? Yes, it can. But first of all, check to see if you have some of those small subtleties, maybe small, maybe in different places, in you. And that is the next level for this gentleman in that cave, to begin to understand that every individual, because they're all energy beings, all of us are, we take in information, energetic information, into our brain and nervous system and come out with an assessment of what that means. Most times we're not used to that. We're not aware of it. So as awareness increases, you begin to realize the level of vulnerability that you have within yourself. And then, slowly at another state, you begin to realize that vulnerability causes you to act and express in a certain way because you fear to have something similar within you. And so you mask it with that reflex reaction that is there. This is normal for everybody. It's not good, bad, right or wrong. This happens to us. If you ask me when that was going to be noticed by every human being and understood by every human being on the planet, I would have to say, oh gosh, I don't know. That would seem like it's a long way from us. And in the meantime, we miss a whole lot of stuff like that because we would much rather our evaluation be more true than somebody else's. This is what we do here. It's the nature of these planes. But it certainly gives us a leg up. From time to time, we do notice that we're reacting. If we are watching ourselves to some degree, at least attempting to, in our day-to-day, we notice that we can react almost with the same intensity as others have. And sometimes we don't. And sometimes we do. And we wonder why that would be that way. If you're a thinking person, that will come up in your mind. If you're a reacting person and you decide that you're the only person that's absolutely right and everybody else is wrong, then the dilemma is that you're just not aware. It's just the way it is. So, but we are also human beings living on a plane that has to engage with the way the plane is set up at this stage, because that's the way the plane is set up. Actions, interactions, reactions, devaluation, evaluation, depending on just how we think things should be. And there's an absorbent amount of opinions out there, and they usually lean in a direction that relates to the beliefs and understandings, one could say, but mainly often beliefs, and the needs we have to evaluate ourselves as more valuable than others, because it kind of, in a strange way, makes us feel important, or if we don't do that, it makes us feel too vulnerable. We can't stand it. So we comfort ourselves. So slowly, and I think for the last couple of thousand years, life has been moving in a sort of a psychological improvement manner, in cycles, of course, where it gets too nervous for us, and then we go into a hyper state where only this is right and only that is right. And then breathing, and then another softer state, and then another hyper state. And these cycles keep on growing or keep on occurring as time passes. And the general observation of a species, and if you look back at our history, you can see these mounds of intensity where images are shown to us, literally, where nations become nothing but another personality. Tremendously important. And then they get greedy and want to take over the world. These kinds of things. That's happened forever. The world was a lot smaller in the early stages, but we still harbor an aspect of that within us. And follow it yourself. See if you do that kind of thing. Do you like to win an argument or lose one? Well, your idea must be the right one. That way you think you win one. So if nobody likes your idea, then you just get rid of the people who don't like it. We are fascinating. Still pretty young, I guess, for all of us. And there are those who think that they're very important and not very young, very masterful. We do the best we can, and that often, if we're lucky, we hit on something that might be valuable, and maybe it makes a difference somewhere along the line. But time is the thing that usually indicates that our species is not quite ready to be filled with a loving sense for everyone, no matter how we believe we're altruistic. We do the best we can with it, and we end up loving ourselves the way we think that self should be loved, and that relates to the pattern that we have. Well, you've heard this story before. It's been kicking around. Aristotle and Socrates and Plato, and they weren't the first, I'm sure. We just kind of elevate some, put some down. History runs out. We don't have a clue what happened too much before. We have a little bit of a clue, but it was still pretty well pyramidal orientation. And that's how we do things. So try to make sense of that. So here you go. If you grow a little bit, see how your brain and your nervous system senses that. Recognize, if you can, that everything that you come up with is not going to be true. That's what happens when we're exploring. Exploration is fascinating. It's different than knowing, and you're the only one that's got the right attitude. That's not exploration. Exploration within truly makes you vulnerable. And that's not comfortable. And we address ourselves basically in a comforting zone. The idea of an old cave made you aware of space all around you like this, and you in that space. And we used to have a meditation that we could do that with. We still do, actually. I like it, but find your own way, I suppose. Where there was a great church bell way up, and you're inside it, but give it lots of room because you're really something. Give it a bigger church bell than anybody else. It's not that helpful. But when you're looking at that, realize that that's kind of a cave. It's a cave where, for the moment, you're just aware of the space around you. You're teaching your brain to become aware of something off of you without making it special, without making you special, without extending, naming something as really being great because you can do it. That holds you to these planes. So, big idea. We all are held to these planes by things of that nature because it's the nature of this plane. Remind yourself of that. And when you think you're really able, remind yourself you're here on this plane. And if you can move out of this plane just a little bit, it's within the realm of moving out of a plane, but the plane is still in you. You're still focused on you for doing it. Therefore, it's part of this plane. Let that one sink in a bit. I know, we're goal-oriented. We don't like that. But the question is there a part of the question implies, from my perspective, is it possible to move out of your version of you for a moment or two? Your version of you, whatever you do, however you're able, all the rest of it, and to engage with a plane where that isn't relevant. That's a higher state. This is the hope of engaging externally, learning how to deal with that external energy after you become aware of it, and see it as only energy as opposed to an impact upon you, and therefore others are terrible. And they can be. Or they may not be. Because they have facets of you and facets of me. So at times, we're not exactly perfect. And at times, we think we are. That may not be as clearly true as what we believe. In fact, most often, it's small aspects that we can feel comfortable with. Then feel comfortable with them. Notice them and see how real they are, and have them be real in that moment, but not necessarily is it real all the time. That way, you can be comforting yourself at the same time looking at you and smiling and doing a little laughing about the possibility of you being a perfect person. Even if you might think that way from time to time, as many have had those slight experiences. In doing this, it helps you to understand that we are truly energy beings. And that implies that it's preparation for an entry into another state as we can slow down the need to have us individually the most important person, or the goal of being the most important person. This kind of thing is the thing, it's a wall that holds you into a referential area within this plane. You carry that with you, moving around pretty stiffly. Letting go of that is really difficult for all of us. Understanding that and taking your time. Everybody's in a hurry. The hurry part holds you in a position because it's your version of need that relates to having to be something without paying attention to what's really there. Go slow. Don't judge it. That's an aspect of that, as Toshi says, living in the world. That's an important aspect. Trying to engage that way is often less a goal, but it can be a goal that may happen through the process of inner development. And this is a process. Process means ongoing. And there's not a goal that occurs and now you're not ongoing anymore. You don't stop that. You continue. And in the continuance, you begin to perceive that interlocking flow of energy that is already in you, non-personalized in terms of our naming our position in it and how important we are, non-personalized in that way, but there, engagingly, aware to some degree. Here's a dilemma. You may believe you're in that. Doesn't mean you are. And that's something no one wants to hear. You see, it comes from, that awareness comes from the outside in. It comes into this plane, and it doesn't align with the personalization. That's why in Buddhism and Hinduism and Taoism, they talk about kind of the non-self. And what they're talking about is that perception within you that will not interfere with that flow being there. It won't even name it. It'll just be in it. So the personality doesn't interfere, because personality is a form through which that we use so we could function here on these planes. If we don't have one, it's pretty hard, because one could say that you don't have a relationship with what you're doing. And in fact, for us, that's the one thing that we truly not only emphasize unknowingly, even as a spiritual being, you'll emphasize how important you are because you're a spiritual being. And that really is a construction based on the personality form. It's the way things are done here. To meet beings who don't do that is to meet a being that has a willingness to go beyond the large tentacles of value, because they're already feeling secure within themselves. That's a hard one for us. Okay, maybe try a different way. In a kind of a way, the ability to look and watch and perhaps not react within themselves or externally. That's a little bit too much first. I say I'm touching the hard ones first. So, going slow, you can see those things and not call them bad, but also not calling them good either. Just saying, this is how I function, and so that is a relationship with how my patterns have been constructed. So you can see, and not only into your attempts to see into the future, but your attempts to see you as a very large, able form that is impacted upon by your earliest times, and perhaps even before you were here. So, yes, I think it's, for some people, I think a cave might be a good place to start. And for many stories, there have been in the past many really very able beings who remained in a cave all their lives, their version of a cave. In this timeline, maybe, I keep hoping, maybe, there's room to be engaged in life without adding that intensity that is so favored by most of us, that relates to our expressing devaluation And there's lots to react to, so that we give our intensity to others in the species to use for their version of what they believe they must do in life. So I think coming in the back door, learning how to do something slightly different than what you could before, which is change that we don't like, of course. Well, that, even in those small places within us, that affects the species. Where you had been aligned with being a certain way, with others who are that way, you make a change in you over the years. Whatever years that might take, little at a time. So process counts then. And you don't go blind from seeing you do it because you've already pronounced you do it, but you just don't know that you're not doing it as well as you think you are. Process allows awareness to sink in, to see your vulnerability, to see the things that you do moderately well. Yeah, so you're helping. Then the same thing you begin to realize that you are carrying your cave around with you. You are the cave. It is you that is engaging with, maybe you don't meditate that much, maybe you don't pray that much, or prayer, meaning trying to get help so you can see better or understand better, so that you can build an inner trust that relates to those higher states rather than relating it only to you. Because that is not, you can't hide from this. So what's the sense? Why bother? Well, we bother because we have learned to do that all our lives. That's fine. Okay. Then see it. Know it. Know what you do. By knowing it, at least you're aware, and maybe through process, you can elongate a relationship with yourself that softens you over the years. That way, it is noted. I know, it implies that this energy flow has some, at a higher state, has awareness. I find that fascinating. And I just don't throw it out. Because each of us may get to have a conscious experience that helps us to understand it deeper. Little at a time. Increments of growth are valuable. Maybe you could think about that a bit. It's a deep question that Toshi asks. And it's a question that is worth considering from more than one angle, I guess. Let me repeat it. You often discuss living in the world and trying to be of service energetically not from your personality. As opposed to meditating in a cave, is it the direct interaction with others that is helpful in ways that wouldn't happen in seclusion? And you might consider the possibility that I might have said yes to that answer under circumstances that would relate to engaging with others with the consideration that as you prepare to open more to that awareness, energy can operate through you, not you intentionally focusing and doing it yourself, because you can garner that intensity. All of us have life force that relates to intensity for the purpose of relating to life. But on its own, operating through you, and you can watch it do so. But when you do watch it, you can't speak about that as if it's yours. Amazing, because you're being taught to notice the difference between you and that flow. You engage on these planes, engaging with life the way you think you need to be, doing your strategic engagement, whatever that may be, and it's much different when that flow operates through you. It's much softer, but it is focused on things that we cannot perceive in another, and relates to where they need help, not where you would think they need help. This is always, hard for us, to be honest, because we like the goal-oriented thing. I can do this, therefore I am great. I can do that, therefore I'm better. Or I can do this and this and this and this, and you can only do that and that and that and that. It isn't all about that at all. It's just, that's something that we do here. And that's why it's so hard to shift our thinking. It's like moving it in a whole movement about 90 degrees in a big circle. We're upside down when we think that way. But that's part of how we engage with life. And by the way, when we engage with life that way, we are doing the thing that is normal. Not bad, not negative. You're training yourself to get to the point where you can see yourself. And that is a wonderful thing, because preparation to let go and be able to watch energy operate through you without taking any credit for it is very, very helpful. So, not a simple question, and a most fascinating one. Thank you very much, Toshi. It's about 1:45, and I think the next question is a biggie as well. So I think we're going to do tonight is we're going to meditate. And that will, which is, by the way, I know all of you are meditating all the time. Maybe not, because it's not easy to do on a regular basis. But let's do that, and that'll be your meditation for today. come back out and when after we meditate. Have a good meditation.
रत्नैः कल्पितमासनं हिमजलैः स्नानं च दिव्याम्बरम् नानारत्नविभूषितं मृगमदा मोदाङ्कितं चन्दनम् जाति चम्पकबिल्वपत्ररचितं पुष्पं च धूपं तथा दीपं देवदयानिधे पशुपते हृत्कल्पितं गृह्यताम् सौवर्णेन नवरत्नखण्डरचिते पात्रे घृतं पायसम् भक्ष्यं पञ्चविधं पयोदधियुतं रम्भाफलं पानकम् शाकानामयतं जलं रुचिकरं कर्पूरखण्डोज्ज्वलम् ताम्बूलं मनसा मया विरचितं भक्त्या प्रभो स्वीकुरु छत्रं चामरयोर्युगं व्यजनकं चादर्शकं निर्मलम् वीणाभैरिमृदङ्गकोहलकला गीतं च नृत्यं तथा साष्टाङ्गं प्रणतिः स्तुतिर्बहुविधा एतत्समस्तं मया संकल्पेन समर्पितं तव विभो पूजां गृहाण प्रभो आत्मा त्वं गिरिजामते सहचराः प्राणाः शरीरं ग्रहम् पूजा ते विषयोपभोगरचना निद्रा समाधिस्थितिः सञ्चारः पतियोः प्रदक्षिणविधि स्तोत्राणि सर्वा गिरो यत् कर्म करोमि तत् अखिलं शम्भो तवाराधनम् करचरणकृतं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वापराधम् विहितमविहितं वा सर्वमेतच्छमस्व। जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री महादेव शम्भो। न तातो न माता न बन्धुर्न दाता न पुत्रो न पुत्री न भृत्यो न भर्ता न जाया न वेद्या न वृत्तिर्ममैव। गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी। गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी। भवाब्धावपारे महादुःखभीरो प्रपात प्रकामी प्रलोभी प्रमत्ता कुसंसारपाश प्रबद्धः सदाहम्। गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी। गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी। न जानामि दानं न च ध्यानयोगम्। न जानामि तन्त्रं न च स्तोत्रमन्त्रम्। न जानामि पूजां न च न्यासयोगम्। गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी न जानामि पुण्यं न जानामि तीर्थम् न जानामि मुक्तिं लयं वा कदाचित् न जानामि भक्तिं व्रतं वापि माता गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी कुकर्मी कुसङ्गी कुबुद्धि कुदास कुलाचारहीन कदाचारलीन कुदृष्टि कुवाक्य प्रबन्ध सदाहम् गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी प्रजेशं रमेशं महेशं सुरेशं दिनेशं निशीथेश्वरं वा कदाचित् न जानामि चान्यत् सदाहं शरण्ये गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी विवादे विषादे प्रमादे प्रवासे जले चानले पर्वते शत्रुमध्ये अरण्ये शरण्ये सदा मां प्रपाहि गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी अनाथो दरिद्रो जरारोगयुक्तो महाक्षीणदीन सदा जाड्यवक्त्रा विपत्तौ प्रविष्ट प्रणष्ट गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानि गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानि गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहम् अद्वैतमानन्द रूपं अरूपम् अद्वैतमानन्द रूपं अरूपम् ब्रह्मोऽहं ब्रह्मोऽहं ब्रह्म शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं नित्योऽहं शुद्धोऽहं बुद्धोऽहं मुक्तोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवस्वरूपोऽहं मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातु न वा पञ्चकोश न वाक्पाणिपादं न चोपस्तपायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न मे द्वेषरागो न मे लोभमोहो मदोर्नैव मे नैव कामो न मोक्ष चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थं न वेदा न यज्ञ अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जातिभेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्य चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वाच्च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न च सङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेया चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् ब्रह्ममुरारिसुरार्चितलिङ्गम् निर्मलभासितशोभितलिङ्गम् जन्मजदुःखविनाशकलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। देवमुनि प्रवरार्चितलिङ्गम् कामदहन करुणाकरलिङ्गम् रावणदर्पविनाशनलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। सर्वसुगन्धिसुलेपितलिङ्गम् बुद्धिविवर्धनकारणलिङ्गम् सिद्धसुरासुरवन्दितलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। कनकमहामणिभूषितलिङ्गम् फणिपतिवेष्टितशोभितलिङ्गम् दक्षसुयज्ञविनाशकलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। कुङ्कुमचन्दनलेपितलिङ्गम् पङ्कजहारसुशोभितलिङ्गम् सञ्चितपापविनाशकलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गम् भावैर्भक्तिभिरेव च लिङ्गम् दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। अष्टदलोपरिवेष्टितलिङ्गम् सर्वसमोद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टतरेत्रविनाशकलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। सुरगुरुसुरवरपूजितलिङ्गम् सुरवनपुष्पसदार्चितलिङ्गम् परमपदं परमात्मकलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्
Now we'll just do the balancing and the grounding. And have a good evening, everybody.